Next is usually Twitch. Twitch, wherefore art thou? Do I do this? Maybe I'll do this. Yeah. And YouTube also thinks we're live. All right, welcome to Code Hangout number 255, the future of SudokuPad. Why is YouTube showing just the thumb? That was weird. Okay, the preview wasn't live. All right, I think we're all live now. I'm just curious because I did a quick search through my titles and I found around episode 200 we also had the future of SudokuPad. So I'm going to look for the future of SudokuPad on YouTube. The future of SudokuPad. And I'm curious when that video was. Oh, and oh wait, that's the current one. Okay, because I searched earlier and I was a bit annoyed that the future of Sudoku by CTC 3 years ago rates above the future of SudokuPad, even though that's exactly what I'm searching for. No. So that was streamed 1 year ago. Can you be more specific? Do we have an exact date? 1 year ago is a little vague. 16th of March. Okay, so just over a year ago. All right, I feel like once a year doing a future of SudokuPad video or stream makes sense. And the reason I'm doing this right now is because I've been doing a little bit of thinking, and also this is actually the title of a talk I had proposed to give on SudokuCon this year in Manchester, and I had a couple of ideas of things to think about, to talk about, and then recently I also thought about the specific types of users of SudokuPad and their specific requirements, and maybe if I could think about how to serve each individual group specifically with a specific thing, because I often think about in terms of features, and then I often think about, oh, but that feature doesn't help these people, or only a subset of people, and then I try to do something that helps everybody, but most things don't, you know. And then certain user groups, there are fewer of them, but they have more influence. For example, there are not as many YouTubers as there are casual solvers, but how they experience SudokuPad might affect more users because more people see SudokuPad on their streams and videos than maybe play by themselves. So for that, I want to kind of just I kind of want to do two things. To be honest, I'm happy to give take some notes, and I might like just in between jump to that. And let's just do this here on the left. So I'm gonna probably have a couple of subheadings, right? So this should be our title, and then we should have subtitles. So SudokuCon talk, and we're just gonna make this a heading 2, I suppose, and then we're gonna make, or should that be a heading 1, like that, right? And then we can do SudokuPad user groups, and we'll also make that a heading 1, right? And I'm hoping, oh, hello myself 2125, how are you doing? I'm hoping that I'll keep up with this for my own sake, and kind of have a document that grows, because I'm pretty sure I've taken notes a million times over in a couple of different places. And obviously, I think also besides these two things, there's just general like SudokuPad features and development. I don't think "and" in the title needs to be capitalized, but I'm not certain. So, talk. I was gonna say, I was just gonna take some quick notes. I'm gonna bring up my proposal spreadsheet. I'm not gonna put that on screen. Because the talk wasn't meant to be about the technical side of SudokuPad, i.e. not features of SudokuPad or something like that, but more about kind of the process by which I developed and have sort of governed SudokuPad, and for example, why certain things haven't happened or why things have taken longer. And because not everything is a question of like, okay, to do X, how much time does it take? What's the benefit to the users? Let's do it. But sometimes also, okay, but is there something else I could do that makes X unnecessary? Or is there something else I should do first so I can do not just X, but X, Y, and Z more quickly, like an internal improvement, etc. And then sometimes, you know, things just kind of fade in and out of my presence. So let's take some notes. I'm just going to run our notes. Or the, I guess almost like a synopsis, but I think I'm just going to freeform, and then later on I'm going to subdivide. I'm just going to take some quick notes. How SudokuPad has and will develop, why things happen or don't happen. Actually, you know what? Let's just make it a bullet list. I think bullets are great because you can just add to them, right? Why things happen don't happen. What is... Because I also want to admit to the fact that things aren't always planned or on purpose, and sometimes they are, you know, they just happen that way, or I forget, or I get bored with a thing, or I don't get around to a thing or something, right? What is planned and what just happens. How I want to improve this process and what to expect. That's kind of like some main points that this talk should be about. But it's quite flexible. Like I said, you know, I could make that talk an hour and a half, and I could add an hour of Q&A, but I could also turn it into a 5-minute quick lecture of like ABC, you know, short slides, etc. But it's also it's not really the most important thing of this stream. Can I just grab this and move it down here? I think I can. All right. This is more like a placeholder we'll get to later. I think the user groups are the most interesting part, and I want to... I've taken some notes. So there are kind of an anonymous list, right? There's 6 primary groups that I've identified. And that's not an absolute thing. It's just like sort of an anchor where to hang certain things, right? So we have the puzzle solvers. We have the puzzle setters. So puzzle solvers is obviously the largest group. Puzzle setters is probably the second largest group. Then we have... I put in privileged users. And I don't know where if I should make this list in order of sort of scale of group, because I probably content creators is the next largest group. I think privileged users... Because there isn't a lot of special treatment I'm giving, but it's all the special treatment I'm giving is basically for setters. Like, I don't think I do anything specifically for YouTubers, and the features that are, you know, and by special privileges I'm talking about things like custom puzzle IDs and things like that. I think, okay, let's put them in here. Privileged users, and we'll add like little whatchamacallit, little categorizations here. We have content creators, we have academic users, and we have commercial users. And now for each of these, I'd like to have a quick description of kind of who they are. And I'm trying to think, is a nested list the best way of structuring this? Probably doesn't matter too much right now. But I think this should be an unordered list, right? And then we'll describe who they are. Most users... Or we don't need to describe who the puzzle solvers are. Let's not structure things by force. Is my stream frozen right now? It's frozen in Restream. Can I play? My Restream preview is frozen. Now, if I load it again, okay, it's running, but now I won't have a chat history. No, I do have a chat history here. All right. Huh. Okay. All right. I think everything is still good. Hey, myself, if you're still around, let me know. I hope my stream did not freeze. All right, I need a fast. This is previews. Look, oh, is it frozen again? It looks like it's frozen again. What's going on? Looks like let me open up OBS. No, OBS, everything looks fine. Oh no, YouTube is frozen as well now. Oh wait, it's paused. Why was it paused? That's so weird. Something is not going correctly right now. Okay, Twitch seems to be live. All right, YouTube works as well now. Restream. Okay, one of them is frozen, the other one is... All right, this is very strange. This is not going well. All right, let's hope. And it's frozen again. Excuse me. Let me know if there's anything wrong. But my restream preview is not working. Let me disable my ad blocker, because maybe restream doesn't like that. But obviously, I don't want to. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. All right, let's continue. So, what did I have in my notes here? So, what are the main features we want to deliver, or what are the features that I feel are the best, highest short-term value, and that I've been talking about, that I've been thinking about, and that I think is required for lots of other things. So I think the number one thing is user accounts, right? It's the primary thing that puzzle solvers, that it'll enable lots of other things, and that puzzle solvers can take advantage of, right? I think the second most important thing is a discovery surface, you know, puzzle discovery, search, and listings. Then beyond that, and maybe these two could be in a different order, because I think we want, a lot of users want cloud saves and want basically cloud saves, and so they can transfer their solves between devices. And then finally, what I put on my notes are statistics, and I was going to put recommendations here, but that would basically be under puzzle discovery. I think I'm going to say solver stats, and then I'm going to say, and I'm going to capitalize these better because my brain doesn't like this, and then I'm going to put separately social features, comments, likes, etc, that kind of thing, right? Or comments, comment ratings, that kind of thing. And arguably some of these features are kind of almost like puzzle setter features, right? And let's do something similar for the setters. And what did I put in my notes? So I guess user accounts, I'm not gonna, well, I think I'm gonna put them separately, because I think there are different features for a puzzle setter than a solver. It's kind of like YouTube and YouTube Studio, you know, like any YouTube account is also a YouTube creator account technically, but in reality, and at the very start, it's kind of like posting on Facebook, right? Every user is a poster, and that's how YouTube started. But nowadays, it's quite different than that. So I guess I'll put setter accounts here as a separate item with a bunch of misspellings, right? And then I think what I think is the biggest thing for setters is a proper puzzle publishing platform, right? And I've talked about this often, and I want setters to have full control over the rights of their puzzles. And right now, one of the biggest worries I have is that the puzzles aren't linked to the setters. So going forward, it's very hard for me to, for example, let users remove a puzzle they don't want to have on the platform, or figure out whose puzzle belongs to whom, and so on and so forth, right? So we have puzzle publishing with rights management. So this includes the removal of puzzles. So this includes hiding puzzles, you know, for commercial use. Like if somebody does a Kickstarter for a puzzle book, they want to have the puzzle on there, but they don't want that to appear in the search listings, etc. Right? Plagiarism detection is something that I personally don't fully understand and appreciate, but I think it is important to many people, and it's something I've been working on with the Clemson folks. So, and if you're gonna have rights management, you're gonna have to have some tools. So we'll have plagiarism detection. And I'm gonna not go into details like handling and blah blah blah. This is high level, right? Now puzzle discoverability is something for the users, but I think we'll want something from the setter side. So we'll probably want to have better metadata, categorization. I want to add something related to like difficulty ratings and stuff like that, but different from kind of the like-dislike ratings. I guess ratings can be a catch-all, because it's not just difficulty. It could be like, oh, I think this puzzle is quirky, or this one is funny, or whatever, right? Better metadata, and then we'll have, hey Keith, how are you doing? And then finally I have puzzle packs here, because that was something I was working on big, but it's very specific. I'm gonna write that in here as well. Puzzle packs and puzzle packs. Puzzle packs is, because to me it's like a bigger thing than the traditional what people might understand when they hear puzzle pack. Like this might include almost like playlists, you know, like grouping puzzles in certain ways, but it could also relate a little bit to metadata, because, you know, all puzzles by a particular set are marked as easy puzzles or as killer Sudoku or so on and so forth, right? So there could be sort of virtual puzzle packs. And I also wanted to add, there was something I want to add, and I thought of it a second ago. I mean, there's obviously various like technical features such as custom URL IDs and so on. But I'm not sure if that's like the highest thing of importance, especially if we have a discoverability feature in the future, when links aren't just coming in from the outside. Oh, what was the thought I had 5 seconds ago? I should have said it out loud or written it down before, but I want to put puzzle packs in first because it felt like it was more important. Ooh, puzzle groupings, like something related to puzzle packs. Oh yes, better, like things like an intro image or lore text, like sort of the non-puzzle parts. Metadata is generally stuff that isn't really visible to the user necessarily, kind of like the internal categorizations, which constraints a puzzle uses, you know, it's things like that, right? So I don't want to put this under metadata, even though you could consider it, because it's not data that's necessary for puzzle, what's the word? For the puzzle solving, aesthetics. What is it called in video games? Cosmetics, right? Cosmetics. I'm gonna search as intro / outro, images, and lore text. You know, so we can have the puzzle rules, but we can have separate puzzle descriptions. Oh, and hints, puzzle hints, puzzle hints. That's a big one. That's a big one. And then better metadata editing for rules on etc, including illustrations and things like that. Okay, that's quite a lot, but you know, it's a wish list, right? So let's talk about the privileged users briefly. So currently this is basically a few Patreons and a few custom people. What I want to put here specifically is not like everything possible, but the things that either already exist in some primitive format and that need to be done better, and things that I've already planned or that makes sense, right? So we have custom puzzle IDs, that's kind of the main feature that exists currently. There is the puzzle API. So for updating of existing puzzles, I mean, to be fair, this will kind of fulfill these. So some of the things that currently are privileged users is something I really want to have available for everybody, right? Like all setters should basically be privileged users. And long-term URLs and things like that should go under commercial users. So for now, I'm happy to leave this a little bit vague. All right, content creators. So here I'm talking about features that, again, that I've either built already and that aren't really well supported or aren't complete, or that I've thought about but haven't really put in enough of to be useful, right? And one of the things that I've heard of that from content creators is they want to control their layout. So layout control. So that they can move the controls to the side or how big UI elements are, etc. What else did I put in my notes? Better sharing tools for managing puzzle links in streams / videos. So I don't know exactly what I mean by this, but I feel like the URL used to link from a video, like a YouTube video, to a puzzle should maybe be special, right? Because in the future, for example, I think that something like for example, all the CTC video puzzles might be under /CTC/, but they should also exist under their main, setter name / puzzle name, right? So one might be a redirect to the other rather than two links existing for the same puzzle and things like that. So I need to figure out exactly how that will work. But there's something there that needs doing for sure. And then there is something called a stream tool, which we've used in a couple of very specific circumstances with live streams, where multiple people can basically play a puzzle together, but also multiple people can, through SudokuPad, watch somebody solve. And we use that in live streams and stuff like that. And I feel like there's a lot of potential there for interactions, for real live streamers that do it all the time on the Twitch, but it would have to be managed much more easily and things like that. So, better stream tools and live user interaction. And if I put the word tools at the back, I don't have to write it twice. So we can do this. And then finally, yeah, I was gonna say maybe I don't need better here. Because even though the tools exist, they're not really commonly known, and saying better is almost like an insult because the current tools aren't really very useful. Link. And this could include like a Twitch bot and things like that, right? And finally, I was thinking we want also very specific discoverability for videos. So for a while, I think I used to add CTC links to puzzles, and I don't know if that bot is still running, maybe not, but I'd like to have that for all. So discoverability via reverse puzzle to video links. So I would like to be able to say, oh, this puzzle has 3 videos made about it. Here are them. Do you want to check them out while you're solving it, or maybe afterwards? So that's definitely something to add here. All right, finally, academic users. So academic users are basically kind of 2 categories. Are people who just passively use SudokuPad, like they'll do something in a classroom. And I remember when I there was like a few days when I ran Google Ads on SudokuPad, and I immediately got an email from a teacher that there was an ad about a cruise, and there was a woman in a bikini on a picture, and they couldn't have that in their classroom, right? So there's something about what kind of ads can be shown, what kind of promotions can be shown. So for example, I think promoting other puzzle related or brainy games related things is fine. So for example, having my links to artisanal Sudoku is probably fine, but like generic ads probably isn't. Now I don't currently show them, but in the future that might happen. So I would love to have a way of managing that for academic users. Excuse me, I thought my glasses are a bit smudgy. So how do I express that in a pithy point? So let's see, add controlled version of links. And I don't know exactly how to manage it. It might be add control, maybe. Let's just say add control. Because I was thinking like, okay, I don't necessarily, like, we don't have user accounts, and I don't want this to be dependent on user accounts, especially in academic settings where students might not be able to get accounts. Do we want to be able to have teachers have special accounts where they can create links that let me detect it's an academic, like I was thinking, how do I detect academic use, right? Add control, for example, I'm gonna limit promos to other brainy games. I think we can just do this. The other thing is something I've been talking about for many years now, is like a white label service. And that fits sort of under commercial use as well. White label service. And the white label service, I'm definitely going to put right under commercial uses as well. Because, and by commercial users, I mean, let's say, I don't know, imagine the New York Times decides to use SudokuPad as their puzzle platform. Wall Street Journal's decided, and they just wrapped it up. But I'd like to have a version of SudokuPad that they can literally integrate into their site, have more control over, you know, make a monthly payment, and it works for out better for everybody, better quality for everybody, right? For commercial users, though, I actually think a little bit more about people who run a Kickstarter to do a printed book, or something like Artisanal Sudoku, where they have an online blog where they link every week to puzzles, right? And I want to make sure these people can be assured that SudokuPad is always available for them. Because right now, you know, I could change, just, oh, let me change the URLs, and suddenly all their stuff is broken, right? And I don't really have any incentives not to do it, except I don't want people to be mad at me, right? So I think it makes sense to offer some kind of specific service where they know what's going on, right? So we'll have a long-term link assurance, right? So we want to be able to say, hey, for example, the Cracking the Cryptic book, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that sudokupad.app/link needs to work forever, but maybe there's a different domain that they can, or a service, or maybe even a piece of software they can put on their own server that updates to links. And like in the future, if the link changes, they get notified in some way, so their thing always works, right? So we have long-term link assurance. And I was also considering, what if there was a puzzle maker tool, like a tool that you press a button and it spits out a copy of SudokuPad that runs one puzzle only, and that you have the license to put on your website, right? So let's say you make you kickstart a puzzle book and it has 50 links in it, and you can buy 50 times some fee, and you can say, okay, I'm gonna run this tool and I'll get 50 little bundles of HTML and JavaScript, and I throw them on my server, and now for those 50 puzzles I can use SudokuPad. Sven's face isn't going to pop up anywhere, and I can, as long as I want to run this server, it'll work, and I'm not dependent on Sven, whatever he's doing, right? So that's the I don't know how to express that, but maybe I'll say such as single or limited puzzle offsite licensed software. SudokuPad version. So the idea is maybe some sort of version of SudokuPad that is a single, or maybe, you know, there's no reason why they need to make 50 copies of the site, but like have it bundled with 50 puzzles, and it can just load arbitrary puzzles and things like that. How do you spell offsite? Is it like this? I don't know. And finally, I think dedicated domain license? Yeah, dedicated domain doesn't really something. Offsite. Yeah, self-hosted. Single listening puzzle. Self-hosted. Puzzle licensed. Self-hosted puzzle version. Single limited puzzle. Licensed, comma, self-hosted SudokuPad version. Okay. I think that's a good sort of set. Now, there was some stuff that bounced around my head while I was writing this out. Let me just quickly go over my notes. I made some notes about what kind of users there are, but I don't think I want to include that here. But maybe, especially for commercial users, so for example, and I never know, what's the difference between IE and EG? Which one is one example? IE vs EG. One is for example, the other one, IE, in other words, is a for example. Provide a representative list. Okay, EG is multiple, right? So EG Kickstarter puzzle book, or on puzzle book online or offline. So we have a Kickstarter thing, we have paywalled online puzzle lists such as artisanal Sudoku and also third party integration such as WSJ, which is, by the way, not licensed at all. They just did that illegally, and I do have had a lawyer draft policy use policy paper that I haven't reviewed yet, that needs to go up on the site. Academic users, let's do the same thing here. E.g., so things like project 9by9.com and 9by9 or, and I don't know, Sudoku U, is that live already? Does it exist? I don't know if there's anything like Sudoku U already online somewhere. Is that? I think so, yeah. So we have Sudoku U. Oops. If I type .org, will it auto-link it? Okay, can I? Yep, that works. All right. So that's just an example of the kind of users that I currently have in mind. But for example, let's see, is there a Kickstarter Rockrat? I think Rockrat Zero did a Kickstarter. I think this one, Periodic Puzzle Project. So maybe I can use that as an example. I do this and then Control K that. And if I do the Wall Street Journal / puzzle, is that a thing? Puzzles, crossword, variety puzzle, number puzzles. Is there no, like, listing of number puzzles? No. Oh, that's annoying. Is there no, like, all number puzzles? I go here. Oh, it auto... I was gonna say, what does this... Is this a piece of JavaScript that actually hard links when I click on it, or... I'm curious now. If you press this thing... And what is this? This is not even a button. It is not even a button. Card right. Randomize card button. Layout. Properties event listener. Oh my god. Is it a click? Please let it be a click handler. Randomize card. Okay. LN. LN. Not defined. Okay. How can it call this 140? Doesn't make any sense. CN maybe. Random. Number puzzle. Let's see. If I go to network here, clear this and then click this. Does it do a load? It does a fetch. These don't work. Okay, add blocked. And it does this, and then it's a server side. Okay. If I take this, open a new tab, can I just open that? Okay. So if I do this, and I'll create a new tab, and I'll do this. So if I refresh this now, it'll give me a different one each time. Okay. Good enough for my list here. So I can just do this, I believe. Oops. And then I can do Control K again. If I do this, it'll work. Great. All right, we have some examples for these things now. So, what I have open here on the right is what we started last week, right? So we definitely want to have better control for this. And one of the reasons I worked on this last week is because I just did a similar feature for Thinky Games, and obviously for Thinky Games, for the Thinky Dailies, you know, it's a commercial service and it's a finished feature and it's got to go out, so it had to be sort of finished and complete, while this was something I threw together very quickly. Like, for example, you should be able to do this, right? So I need to... This definitely needs some work, and it's something that now there are more puzzles that are useful or that are worthy of such a feature, right? And I think I have a list of large puzzles somewhere that I was kind of preparing. They're not here though. Because I don't even know what this is. Untitled but unknown. This is a little concerning because this is the Katadoku pillar, right? Let me just take a look at my stats and see if I can find a puzzle. So if I go here and change this to this, and I say all time, ooh, it doesn't come up. If I go here and change this to that and say all time, it should come up. It should come up. The fact that it doesn't come up implies to me that I've been accessing this only locally, and it doesn't track my local clicks. And now I'm trying to think, is there something here that... Ooh, what's going on here? Why is this not coming up? Okay, this was something we're looking into as well. I have some pending work I need to sort out. But I'm curious now if there is anything here, like a puzzle ID, like this one, that I can potentially reference. Ooh, come on. So if we go here, because I think puzzle IDs are a property that I pass through. Is it just under puzzle? Is it maybe under puzzle? Yeah, it looks like these are the internal IDs. So if I go here and then put that in here and get rid of the double thingies. Now, the problem is... Oh no, it doesn't like this. Oh, there it is. Oh, I don't know if that's the puzzle. The problem is, it looks like this isn't finished. So wherever I got it from, they might have modified it further. And then I might struggle to actually find it. I don't think this is it. Oh, no, it is. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, it also doesn't have... It has a different URL, and it doesn't have solution checking, and it doesn't have a setter or a title, which is unfortunate. But it has been accessed multiple times. So if I do this instead and do this, can I find other... Because the problem is, if they've changed something, it probably would have changed the... Like, if they kept editing it and modifying it. Because if I have something identifying of the puzzle that's independent of this ID, you know, maybe I can find the other ones. But you see, this ID... Oh, two different versions. Oh, no, that's the sir. Yeah, so this... Nobody took this puzzle, modified the title. Well, they wouldn't, because it would be a different puzzle ID then. Alright, I can't find that quickly, unfortunately. Because this... I'm pretty sure this is the second Katadoku pillar. Ooh, maybe we can just search by title. We look for title. We'll search for one of these and then say Katadoku. No. Pillar. There's no puzzle. Yeah, Katadoku pillar. This. Pillar. I don't know if it had Katadoku pillar in the name, the second one. Some caterpillar. Caterpillar. Pillars of killers. Caterpillar. Ah, maybe I can just say contains pillar. If I do this, what do I find in titles? So we have POC, we have pillars, the very little caterpillar. I think this one is probably not the big one. Yeah, it's a tiny one. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Is there anything else? It might not have a lot of visitors either, because... Again, because it might not be a public puzzle that was posted somewhere. So we have the Katadoku pillar, the big one. That's the original one. And then we had a second one. Sudoku pillar puzzle number 1. I don't know if that's something related. No. And I can't think of a property that I could filter by that would would filter out only large puzzles, for example, right? So we have Katadoku pillar proof. So this is proof of concept. Caterpillar, Katadoku pillar. Well, let's have a look at all of these, right? So we'll have this one. And that's I think that's the original one. Or it's a part of the original one. That's nothing at all. This one is also nothing at all. And then this one is probably... Yeah, it's probably the same one. Just an earlier version, maybe. Because I remember the second Katadoku pillar had something different in the title. Alright, I can't find it right now. But I'm gonna have to do a call out to the... is there something size? I don't think I'm putting size into analytics. Like, I don't think I have a property size. I've solved time. Companion slot, host, actions. I mean, a large number of actions. But this is my inverse list. Yeah, and the percentile would be very small for certain large numbers of actions. So, it's not super useful. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a call out, like, to let people submit very large puzzles, or just do a scan through my database and find large puzzles in there. All right, so let's put some features here. For now, I'm just gonna make it an unordered list, and I'm gonna put specifically things here that I have already worked on, that are partially implemented, that have been promised, or that have been looked at, or have been requested many times. So nothing brand new or crazy new, right? So we have large puzzle support. And that includes, you know, UI, like such as on-screen buttons so it works on mobile, but it will also include things like optimizations, you know, for the rendering and things like that, right? So we have large puzzle support. Now, I'm tempted to leave out certain things because, for example, multi-digits has been thought about in the past. And one of these untitled tabs is probably multi-digit support. Because Mark wrote a version of it. And I have it open in here somewhere. And it's not any of those, but like I have so many tabs in here. But I don't know. I don't know if it would be in here. Or maybe I saved it. I might have saved it somewhere. Maybe I'm not a complete crazy man. I search multi. I search digit. Can I just multi digit? Is that a thing? Multi. I just search for multi. Multicolor. I want to search only the tabs open, like open in the tool, not actually search in the files. All right, that's. I'm not gonna find that now. Ooh, I don't. There's some things here I probably shouldn't open on stream. All right. Do I have multi-digit in here as a stream? Distance algorithm. Consider idempotent operations here. Oh my gosh. Puzzle identity. All right. Animated digits. Perform chaos. All right. I mean, I have like a whole bunch of stuff in here that I probably should reconsider, and I shouldn't put any of this stuff on the stream. Multi. Could also be dual or double. Double. Oops. Double. Double. Wait. Draw lines double. Double tap. Double slash. Double. Okay. So, my God, this file is too big. All right. Well, double digits. I'm only putting this. I don't think it's a priority thing, but I'm putting it in because it was something that matches closely with the feature set of SudokuPad, and it's like one of the older requests that hasn't been done. Double digit support, but I'm not expecting this to be relatively high priority relative to the other ones we're going to put in this list. You know, user accounts, big one, right? And here again, we're talking about also in a hierarchy of features that enable other things, right? So user accounts enable lots of other things, right? So like a lot of stuff here requires user accounts first. So user accounts is something that's really important and really urgent because it enables many other things, and it makes many things easy. Like for example, I could implement. I've often thought about various ways of transmitting puzzle state from one device to another via, you know, a special link that you can like share with yourself. You know, you have a, like, it sends the state to my server, the server generates a link, you take that link and open it on your phone or a QR code, and now you can continue the puzzle on your phone and you don't need a user account, right? But it's all very complicated, and if you have a user account, it becomes so much easier. So maybe building user accounts first would save me from trying to build complex systems that aren't needed once we have user accounts, right? Now, I said I was going to put them in priority, but that one is just so much more important than this one, right? And I don't want to think about this too much. I have plenty of lists of things I need doing, but it's more like something to support these lists, right? So I can say, yeah, user accounts, we need these, we need setter accounts, but ultimately an underlying feature of user accounts exists that makes a lot of these things possible, right? And to be honest, I don't want to actually go too crazy deep into this stuff. I'm kind of happy actually with what we've written up, because this is something I need to think about over time, and I want to probably come here sort of kind of like notes, but then we also want to do like a synopsis, right? And these probably should be like heading 2s. Like this is a heading 1, a heading 2, right? Because then if I do this, then this will show these. Yeah. Like rough list. And then this can be a heading 2, right? And then we can have a priority list, you know. Yeah. All right. I should probably, because my brain is already fried, but I feel like I haven't done a lot of original work. I've kind of worked through some notes I've had and kind of written them out in a more clean way. But to do something useful, right, let's have a quick review of what we did look at last time, right? And there was 2 things that are ongoing. One is the Zoom stuff, which is sitting here, but I was also looking at the replay data stuff. And I was looking at, currently I have this little tool that zips something, right? Now I did an unzip so I could load state from one browser to another, right? So I could say, let's load up, you know, things on my SudokuPad app state and bring it into localhost so I can test it, right? That's what we did. So let's have a quick look at some of this stuff. So let's look at also that I can clean up my repo here and don't have to stress over what's where and all that stuff, right? So first of all, we have something here on line 48 something something, and I think this is part of the Zoom thing because I was trying to figure out how clicking and long pressing and all that stuff works. I think that's just, yeah, we can just get rid of that. So the change of the large puzzle we can ignore for a second because we have 2 overlapping things. So if we can clean up one and then we can poke at the other one, right? So in utilities, I got rid of this because that was just hitting my... Yeah, this was just calling out to my thing and I was generating a lot of errors and I didn't want that. Okay, so line 369. So we have unzip archive here. So we have zip archive, which is... it's 1K, and unzip is 358 bytes. So it's not too bad, right? And I think I deleted a blank line. So if we bring the blank line back, we only have this added and we have this. This is a temporary change. Okay, so what's going on here? So this, if I refresh this, what was the uncaught error here? All right, we'll see. Oh yeah, by the way, because I have a visual weird glitch where I get this semi-transparency going on here, and I'm seeing it here on the right side, but on the stream I don't think it shows up at all. So it's like, yeah, whatever tool, however the recording happens, doesn't see it. So it is really something in my graphics driver. For a while I thought I had screen burn-in or something. All right, so by bringing in the puzzle state into my local storage, we made it overflow, and this is what we wanted to handle better. And currently, oh yes, and we wanted to come up with a dialog for this, right? So we looked at the replay save load dialog. We have a free space button, but we also had load file, and we wanted to accept, I think I downloaded a big zip file, something like this. So if I open this, And then we hit not implemented. At line 139 under replay. Replay save. One three. Import file. Restore progress backup. And it hits not implemented here. To do, show user info and give options to restore, override, etc. Okay. So this is where we left off the last stream when we did the storage management stream. Because I think we did the Zoom stuff the stream before that. Let's just double check. Yeah, we did storage management last week. Yeah, let's finish that. Let's see if we can finish that. Okay. So, when this happens, right? We're running out of space. No, not running out of space. We're trying to restore the progress backup. So I selected a zip file. It detected that we have a zip file. We hit this over here. We're unzipping the archive. Right. Which is potentially quite big. 5 megabytes, probably bigger. In fact, let's see what size that is. We'll do json.stringify.length. And then it says we have 1,199 identical. So we're basically going through everything in the zip thingamajig, right? We're decoding the data. Yeah, the val we don't actually need. So if... Okay, so let's see if the stored value is null. So what if what's in local storage is null, we have a new item in the import. We can do this, right? So then we don't need to do this decode because that decode could become expensive, right? If we're decoding the data, and if it's identical, we implement set, otherwise that, and then we continue. Right. And then at the end it tells us we have 1,199 additional ones. We have one changed one. And we have zero... Sorry, we have one changed and 0 additional. Okay. And that's expected because we literally just imported that, so that file is all in my local thing. Now, if we want to know how many are missing, we need to know how many there are currently, right? So, currently, to find out how many there are current, we have the save and download button. I don't think exists currently in this dialog. So that's, yeah, so that's something we want to bring in here as well. So, wait, no, it does exist, right? Because if I go here and I say, we have a download all replays. Is that from here though? Download all replays. Yes. Okay, so that's here. And it does this. Okay. So I feel like this code is probably replicated elsewhere. So if I look at this, for example, and let me just double check that all my chats still function and correctly operate. And I'm not going to make the stream super long today because I'm very tired. I didn't get much sleep in the last 2 weeks, to be honest. So we have this one here, and then we have it, yeah. So we have progress count here. Okay, so how often is... Oh, because we need it. So this is a fundamental thing. Ooh. Okay, get progress count is a fundamental function that exists in framework, and it's used in collector replay. And it's also used here, so we do need it. Okay. And this particular line is also used handle download replays key match replayed HTML. Oh, I think this might be okay. So it exists here, and the other one is here. Because I feel like this should maybe be in framework. So, if free progress test ls key count plus plus. Is this the same, right? We just don't need the text encoder. I'm just trying to think, do I want to factor this out, or do I want to have a function that returns all the replays from local storage and then use it for this and for this? The thing is, this is much more efficient because, so let's not touch this for now. Let's not touch that. Let's not overcomplicate things. And I think I just removed one space there. Yeah. Let's commit that. I just removed that one space, that's fine. So, handle download replays. So we want to have a function that basically gets us to here. We can probably put that up here. So function get replay data. And it'll basically be just most of this. Replay data. Get progress data. Right? And then we'll just do return progress data. It does this little bit of extra work here. Key. Do we need that? I mean, that's how we choose to encode it. I'm just thinking, so the key is in there, but is the key also in the data? I think it is, right? So if we look at progress 1, 2, 3, that's always identical to the puzzle ID. But it's not a guarantee, although in this case it actually is. Because this would put it in a third time, basically. We could also basically just create a filtered key value, but then we're copying it twice. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I think yeah. I don't want to create separate progress data. So basically we just want to functionify this, and then we'll just say create progress bundle or archive, right? And that actually does the whole thing, and then returns the zip data. And we'll just do this. Return zip archive, right? And then we'll use that down here. Well, we don't actually create progress bundle, let's say, right? And then we're just going to return progress data. And then here we can say const progress data equals and then zipped. And then that's what gets downloaded, right? And now we can use that elsewhere as well. Because now in our function here, basically what I wanted to say is anything that isn't in here if I say progress data, like this, right? And then anything that's missing. Yeah, so missing starts at ugh. Basically, we need to, anything that's in here, we need to remove from this. I'm just gonna output this here because I'm realizing it doesn't necessarily contain the data in a format that's super useful to me right now. So if I go here, oh, set item on server setting equals where equals 32. What do you mean 32? Huh? Oh. All right. Couldn't make up my mind if I used a function or a arrow syntax there. All right. So download. No, that's not what I want to do. Replay, save, load file, zip. Okay, so our progress data ends up here, and it's in this format. Yeah, this would be good as a generator. This is exactly what a generator should do. So it doesn't allocate all that memory, because it's megabytes of memory. I don't actually need any of this, right? I really just need... I need the keys. Consider get progress keys. If I do this, right, and we won't need the text encoder. Progress keys, right? And then let key is blah blah blah. Progress key dot push key. Because I'm tempted, I could use this for this and then loop through that. And we loop twice, but does it really take a lot of time? Probably not, right? Because then we can say progress keys equals get progress keys. Boom. We don't need any of that stuff. We do need local storage though. We do need ls. We don't need that. And then we can say for const key of this, right? We can just say progress data push key dot progress text encoder ls get item key progress data. Right. I believe that's correct. And then we can say progress keys, and then we don't need progress data, right? And then we'll say and now basically what I want to do is every time we encounter a key, we remove it from here. So progress keys should now be an array. Yes. Script delete item from array. I mean, we could make it a key value object. All right, if I do progress keys here, If progress keys, all right, let's see, let key idx equals progress keys dot index of key. If key idx is equal to -1, then progress keys dot splice key idx 1, right? And then we should be able to say at the end, the length of this, whoops, length, should be how many keys are missing from this import. At least that's the theory. I don't know. I don't even know if I need that information right now, but better to have and not need than to need and not have, right? Ooh, okay. It didn't like that at all. Progress keys dot length is undefined. Progress keys is just that? What? Ugh? Progress keys dot push. Oh, jeez. All right. Let's do that again. Bum bum bum. Load file. Zipperoonie. Okay. 1200. One is changed, so it matches what we have here. So if I do this, whoops. If I do this, although I'm guessing this already, I already have this, yeah. Let us get a new thingamajig. Oh, I'm gonna have to. This isn't gonna work locally because I don't have the latest files pulled down. So if I do this, and then I think I can open this locally because it'll refer to the online server for this. No. Why not? Shouldn't it just pull it from the server? Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Just trying to think, how can I quickly create a new local ID? I guess I can SCF 9876543221, boom, and that should get us a new puzzle. And that puzzle shouldn't exist in the file. So if I now refresh this and then say, I don't know if I have to put something in. If I do this, right? And then I say replay load save, load file, this, it still says 1200. And it's because we don't have space right now, and it can't save any data. God damn it. All right, it's kind of circular. We can... No, I was going to say we can delete... Oh, no, wait. We can load one of the other files that are a bit smaller. They should be a subset of these. So, for example, if I load this one, right? Okay. So, it goes from 1200 to 473, which means 473 are missing. Except now I realize I'm adult because it should be equivalent to the total number minus these numbers, right? Wait, no. Because additional aren't present. So there's 127 additional IDs that aren't present in my current storage? How's that possible? It's a smaller data set. Unzip size. Okay, wait. Let's get rid of this for a second. Unzip size. Unzip size. Unzip. Okay. Dot length. So we're loading in 854 new bits of progress. 718 of which are identical to what's in the database in our local storage. 9 have been changed, and 127 are additional. So missing should be... So we should be able to, first of all, we should be able to go back to framework and use that function, get progress count, right? So we have framework.getProgressCount. Right. So we should be able to say const progress count equals blah blah blah. So progress count, and then we should be able to say const missing equals, it's basically identical plus changed it's progress count minus identical plus changed, because additional aren't in progress count. Whoops. So now we should have 4 bits of data here. And that should give us the full set. So if I now go here, load file, this one, we now say we have 718 that are the same that we already have. We have 9 that get updated, and we have 127 that are new. But if I add 473, we get 1200 exactly. And if I add 127, we should get 854. Cool. Cool. So in theory, loading this in should get us 1200 plus 127. Okay. I still haven't gotten my head around how I want to deal with this in terms of let's put missing here. In terms of what options give to users, because obviously if we run out of storage, we can't just import. So we can't really complete the import dialog until we have sorted out the free dialog, right? And the free dialog looks like free space. So we currently have this, right? So we have the handle free dialog, and it generates, it does this key match. So I think we can just do restore progress backup. We should be able to get, we have a function now that gets us the progress keys, right? So const progress keys equals boom, like that. And then we have local storage because we need to actually get the data as well. And then we can say for const key of progress keys. Do we need I? No, we know this is true. Const item equals, let's get item key. So we parse it, we pull out the time. We generate size and length stuff. Then we sort it. Okay, and then we do manipulation down here. Okay. Yeah, and it'll give us these 3 options at the moment. Keep nothing. Free 5.147 megabytes. Keep last 30 days. Free 4.77, or keep last 12 months. Free 900 blah blah blah. And then I thought I wanted to have like even because I wanted to do like the other one, like free 10%, like as the minimum version, right? Because that's the reverse calculation, and I've done this in the actual calculation for the current dialog, which I believe is in script. No, quota, right? So quota. Find local storage space. So that's trying to figure out how much space we have. Test local storage quota. Yeah, so that's just returning what happened. And then here, where we have that result. Okay, so yeah, so that does the calculation for minimum storage. Yeah, okay, no, this is the other way around, right? It creates additional usage until we have... Wait, what? No. Okay, no, sorry. This checks if we have X amount of storage available by creating a string that gets bigger and bigger and bigger until we fail. Size. Divided by string 100. Rough size. Quota data. Try. Key plus math random plus equals math random. Wait, what? Get item key. Ls key. Starts with key. Remove item key. Get item key is not equal to now. Key equals key. Key plus. Oh, okay, so this is just to avoid collision, although it's a bit silly because I probably should just assume underscore underscore quotas underscore test is safe. All right. This is just giving me a guaranteed available key. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. All right. So here now we do the date sorting thing, right? Yeah. And then we're basically adding up the sizes until we fulfill our thing in reverse order. So it's deleting the oldest. So what I was thinking of doing here is saying, okay, free 10% is one of the options, and it'll tell us what the cutoff is. Because I don't want to have an option where it's like, delete last 30 days, and they didn't play in 30 days, and it just won't delete anything. It'll just be confusing. But what if I say... So we have these here, right? So what if I say last 24 hours, right? And then -1 times milliseconds a day. So if I just do this, what would happen? So we refresh this. And we'll say, replace safe load, free space, keep last 24, free. Wait, no. No, all but 24 hours, I guess. So, all but. So then we want to find the oldest date. So we know progress data is sorted. So if I do this, this gets me the last one. So this should get me... we have a latest and earliest output anyways. Where is that? Latest and earliest. Where do we output that from? Latest, earliest. Latest, earliest. So if I take this, earliest, so that's 2024 in this case. So if I say... value off. And then we'll say we make it bigger by 1 day. And all but is actually wrong here. Yeah, so that would delete 1 replay. 6 kilobytes. So it'll just delete the first replay because in the first 24 hours, there's only one replay. So keep all but 24 hours. Keep all but oldest 30 days. Keep all but oldest 30 days. So if I save that, mine plus 30 milliseconds in days. So that should tell me I can delete everything except 30 days, which is basically what the thing currently... No, the thing currently does to free 200k, right? I guess there's a... I can make a presumption that if somebody hits the storage limit, they have a relatively large amount of things. So like deleting 13 replays isn't gonna be very interesting. So probably keeping last 24 months might be more interesting, and going further back than that probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I want to keep this dialogue also a little bit easy to understand, not go crazy with it. My restream is frozen again, so I might not even be seeing chats. Or maybe people just aren't talking to me. No one wants to talk to me anymore, not even Keith. Also, is my face a little pale looking? Alright. I mean, the lighting has changed because it got dark outside in the meantime. So, keep last 24 months. Free 77, free 200 kilobytes. Okay. Yeah, I think that first option here doesn't make a lot of sense. And currently, does the delete actually do the thing? If I press delete. Okay, the buttons aren't hooked up. Okay. So that's where it's at the moment. So we need to hook up the buttons. Yeah, and then the idea is if we have a dialogue that we can just pop up, we can basically just pop up this dialogue. Can we do a little bit of a... shall we do an emphasis on these things? Like, EM. And maybe on... Do it on all of these? Or... I don't know, actually. I shouldn't just randomly do that. It does do it for that one, though. Well, if we're gonna do it there, we should do it here as well. Or should it be bold? Oh. Oh no. I guess it should be nice there. Yeah, maybe we'll do that, make it strong. I miss B. I mean, it still exists, but I feel dirty using it. But it's so much shorter than strong. And it feels like it's much more sensible. Yeah, don't worry, don't worry, Keith. I was even on the, you know, tell people to chat, and then I'm not on the right tab, and then the chat does, I don't even notice the chat. So, yeah, excuse me. I really should finish this, but I'll be honest, my brain isn't braining. And this is something that I don't want to make a mistake with, because it's one of those things that it might not be obvious and it might destroy people's data. So I want to be super careful messing with these. Excuse me. Excuse me, huh? I went down the wrong pipe. All right. Yeah. No, I'm trying to think. Is there a better way of showing this, like as a percentage or something? I don't know. I don't like this. And then the delete would Should I offer to download, or should I force to download the existing replays first? Like, I don't know. Should I add a button here? I don't know if I should add the button because here we already have. We don't have say. Yeah, so the download all replays should maybe be here also. So whatever download all replays does, we should probably add that, right? So we should probably have download all replays, delete replays, and then we have that. And then on button, we just I really want this to be like that. Function, handle, button. All right, we'll have that. That goes on button. And then cancel. Autoclose should be true. Because, I don't know, do I want to go back to the other dialog if we cancel this? Like, if I go here, replay save load free space, and I cancel it, we might want to go back to the other one. So if I do on cancel, we have handle download, handle open dialog. So if I do this dot handle open dialog on cancel, what does that look like? Does that feel right? Like, my dialog system isn't really that sophisticated. If I go here, free space, and I go cancel. Handle button cancel. On cancel, handle button cancel. Oh, wait. I think I need to do this. Ah. Okay. And then, if a button equals cancel, we'll do this. Else, if a button equals something, download all replays. And else if button equals delete replays. Right, now download all replays does this. Right, so I do this. We go here, do this, free space, console, handle download replays, handle open dialog is not a function. Handle open dialog is not a function because we're in this. So if I do const handle button equals button this, it should get us a bound function, a bound this. So if I do this and press cancel, we get back here. If I go here, download all replays. Did it just start this? Yes. It has no feedback, but I think only because I've just downloaded. So for most users, it would offer them, hey, you're downloading a file. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. And then delete replays currently still doesn't do anything because I'm chicken. I'm too chicken to implement. Let us at least get that data. So we have a radio by ID label. Pick free space, right? So if I do this, 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 and then this, and I'll say document.query select or name equals this. Gray selector all. And then I'll say checked? No. Radio. How do I select? CSS select a checked radio. My input. Colon checked. So it's a pseudo class. And if I do this, it says last 30 days, but this is the one that's checked. So I'm guessing it doesn't live refresh that. Interesting. And if I say just this, and I cancel and I reopen, I get null. And now I'll get input. And if I do .id, I do this. And if I go back here and I say .id, I get a null error. And if I put a question mark here, I get undefined. Okay. And if I do, what's my utility function for selecting? Resolve selector. So if I say resolve selector 0, I don't know what. What's the advantage of using a resolve selector? Cell equals string return query select all cell. Turns it to an array. If selector is an array, turn cell. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to use resolve selector here. So if I just do this, and then I select a thing, and I do it again. Let me do it again. Yeah. So that should get me the current selection. Const selected. Const option equals boom. Console. All right. I think that's a decent enough place to stop it. I'm not going to finish this tonight. It's super late and I'm tired. I don't want to make a mistake on this. So if I say delete replace now, it says option undefined. If I go back to here, free space, I select this one, keep last 12 months. I say delete last 12 months. Okay. And then we'll do to do implement selective deletion. And we probably want to keep the items for each of these options as well. Cutoff dates. Are we cutoff count, cutoff size? Okay, we get the index. Okay, because I was thinking, like, do I want to have a list of the actual items as part of it? But I think since they're all from start to index, I can use count to figure out, and the count is available in here. So I should be able to do this. Dot find item where item dot label equals option, and I've misspelled every single thing in here. And if I do this, it should get me the one item, right? So we go back here, do this, keep 30 days, delete. It gets me that. And if I go back here, here, don't select anything, press delete, it gets me undefined. Okay. And then I can use this and the count value to know how many items to delete. Cool. We can just say count date Boom. And then we can just do this. Boom. So if I refresh that now, go in here, do this, free space, keep nothing, delete replays, option nothing, count as 1200, date is today. All right. I think I'm gonna call it here. Just made a little bit of progress on this, and nothing super significant, but yeah, today is not the right time to finish that. Also, I'm happy I've started this. This is something I really want to kind of drill in more and get more into detail. And then I think each of these groups deserve more details. So over time, I want to contact these people, i.e. put out a form maybe and say, hey, who would, like, put a survey out, you know, say, who do you think you are? Who of these groups does best describe you, you know? I know, for example, recently I started looking for content creators, and there's so many streamers that I'd never seen or heard of before. I know the folks I work with Clemson, but I also know there's there's the Sudoku Foundation, there is, you know, people like Rocket Zero, and I don't know exactly who else there is. So maybe have a form, like let people register their interest. Like I consider myself this, and this. This is what I, you know, maybe create a little bit of a Google survey. I created a big Sudoku survey concept a long time ago. I never published it, but you know, this could go into that. Commercial users. Maybe I should start contacting WSJ. You know, they're the one big site that are actually directly using me. And I have a connection to James Sinclair. I'll have a word with him. Kind of what he thinks is the most important thing, and yeah. All right. Yeah, this was a bit of a different stream, but the last one was, you know, 55 streams ago, so more than a year ago, last March. So I think the future of SudokuPad deserves a little bit more attention. So in fact, maybe that's something I should do quarterly, and maybe have both a forward-looking stream and a stream that sort of reviews what has happened. And maybe in the future, I'll have maybe a more structured list of these, and then a year later I can look at which parts of these things have been addressed and what progress has been made and things like that. I'd like to get more organized in that way. In the meantime, thank you very much, Keith, for hanging out. You're always a welcome sight in my makes my streams not so lonely. And you know, if you ever want to comment on some of these, have any thoughts, any, you know, as a rare viewer of my live streams, maybe there's another user group, maybe there are people who are interested in the goings on of SudokuPad but aren't necessarily playing a lot of puzzles, or aren't setters, or don't fall into any of these other groups. There's a whole group of people who are interested in doing plugins or development on SudokuPad related technologies and things like that. They're also not really covered here. Yeah, maybe they deserve a user group. I don't know. You know, maybe there could be a group for plugin creators that deserve APIs. I don't know. Maybe I'll add them right now. Actually, imagine we had SudokuPad contributors, and they might like to have API plugin system. They might want to have a what's the word? Not accreditation. To give credits. What's the word? Because I have some places where I'm crediting people, but it might behoove me to be more structured about this and to be more upfront about it, so people know what kind of, what's the word? Oh my god, my brain is blanking. My brain is blanking. What's the word? The word of a thing to give not exposure. Oh my god. Credit is similar, but it's not the word I'm looking for. Contribution, the opposite of contribution, like to thank a contributor, right? To give somebody credit, to acknowledgement, maybe. Yeah. Basically to give thanks, right? And that's, well, that's not even a word. Something like accreditation, but it's not exactly it. To give credit. What's a word for that? To give credit, to acknowledge someone's efforts, accomplishments by praising and rewarding. Credit, professional work, the creative writer. Proper citation. Acknowledge, source, written gratitude. Yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah. Here we have an acknowledgement. Yeah, I mean that's what I put. All right. Well, it'll have to do. It'll jog my memory when the word comes back to my brain. All right. Thanks for hanging out, Keith. Take care. Have a good rest of your weekend, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. There's so much stuff coming up at the moment. I was so busy with so many things. I hope I can talk about it soon. All right. Bye bye.